Hi everyone, I am Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, and today I'm going to be talking to Audra Coleman. We were on the 2025 Low Carb Alaska Cruise together, and we had a chance to sit down and have a conversation. We talked about food addiction and, the importance of community and the importance of having a why. I think you'll enjoy this conversation. We had so much fun on the cruise, visiting Sitka and Skagway, Alaska, and what was the other one? Juneau, Alaska, and ending up in Victoria, BC, which is where I live. This is my little Sitka otter. I hope you can see it okay. I just love otters. They're so cute and appealing, aren't they? Fuzzy little creatures. So had to get a shirt. Anyways, let's listen to what Audra and I have to say. So one of the things is that on a cruise ship with almost 4,000 people, it's really hard to find a quiet spot. The Solarium Bistro on this cruise, they allowed us to have a little corner in their restaurant, which was actually a part like a conference room or something like that. It was still noisy. Just forgive all that, and let's roll the conversation. I'm with Audra. We are on the Anthem of the Seas, leaving Alaska, and we decided to have a conversation about Audra's journey and her story and where you can find her and things that she has to offer. So Audra, I think let's start with what were you like before you found this way of eating? Maybe you can explain if you're carnivore or keto or just proper human diet. What were you like before? How did you find it, and what's happening now?
Okay, so I was extremely obsessed with sugar to the point that I was not a moderator at all. So for me, I have to be an abstainer. When I say I was sugar addicted, anything sugar. I didn't care that much for food. Food was not really important to me. Sugar, candy, cookies, any kind of sugar. I used to eat cake icing out of the tub on a spoon. I don't even need the cake. I mean, I loved birthday parties. My weight has gone up and down my whole entire life. I've yo-yo dieted. I went so far as to have weight loss surgery in 2013, lost a good bit of weight, found my way back to sugar, and the weight started coming back. At that time, I was trying to figure out what do I need to do, so I started looking into keto. Did keto for a couple years. I did pretty good with it, but I became very obsessed with keto fat bombs and the treats.
That happened to me too. Yes, I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's a keto dessert. Let's eat it. It's keto. Let's have another. And then next thing you know, you're addicted to keto dessert. So then I started looking on YouTube, and I started kind of searching around and hunting for what could stop my sugar cravings. And that's when I ran across Kelly Hogan, Ken Berry, and found Carnivore. So that particular year was 2021. So from January until September of that year, I would do really, really good all week, and then I would just crash on the weekends. And I would have to have the sugar. It would just, your brain, the craving. I mean, the craving is so strong that you got to go and get it now. Or you're just like, you don't even know how to act till you get that fix. I've never done drugs. I rarely ever drink alcohol. I've never smoked. But for me, I made up for it with sugar addiction. Anyway, and that's kind of, after being on keto for a while, I found Carnivore, and I remember thinking, they just eat meat. How do you do that? Well, I started doing it. Like I said, it took me from January to September, falling off the wagon, getting back on, falling off, getting back on. I really jumped off the wagon. I didn't just fall, I just jumped. But anyway, and September 1st of 2021, I said, that's it. That's it. No more of this. I have to get on board. I feel so much better all week long. And then on the weekends when I would binge, come Monday, I mean, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck, you know, and I couldn't figure out why I felt that way because of the sugar intake, you know, the junk food, the Doritos, just the sugar. So, like I said, I played with it and I watched for a while, and the more I started binge watching, the more it made sense to me, the more I wanted to do it full time. And finally I said, that's it. I got to do this.
Yeah. I'm positive that so many of the people that are going to be listening to this will relate to that 100%. You mentioned birthday cake. I used to make sure I got the corner piece.
Yes.
Oh, we would have fought over it.
Yeah,
you
we
and
would
I.
have. Well, there's always 4 corners, so we could have shared. But for me, you know how it comes on that cardboard thing?
Oh, yeah.
I tell them, take the rest of that icing that was other people's and just smear that on my corner piece.
That's right. Yeah, that corner piece has got all the icing.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you are my sister here.
Yeah, we're sugar sisters.
We're sugar sisters. So let's talk about how, so I just want everyone to know that I met you a year ago at Meat Stock in Tennessee. That was the first time I'd ever met you, first time I'd ever laid eyes on you, and we ended up making bacon together in the kitchen.
We cooked the bacon every morning.
That's right.
Fried it up
we
in its own
bonded
grease.
over bacon.
Yes.
And then I met you again at Meat Stock this year in 2025, and here we are a month later at sea in Alaska. This is a perfect opportunity to ask you, why do you come to these events? How important is community to you?
Community is extremely important. Just, you know, they say that you are like the 5 people you hang around with mostly. And like, I have made the most amazing carnivore friends. I mean, I have friends all over in states everywhere. I mean,
in Canada.
There you go. And I can go I can say, hey, I'm coming into town. Can we meet up? And I mean, I've stayed at several people's houses that I met through the carnivore community. I live in North Carolina, and of course Kelly Hogan lives in North Carolina. I've been to her house and spent the night. And you know, we had a big meetup last year in North Carolina in September. It is all about community. You need to be with like-minded people, discussing with them, how did you do this? How did this affect you? How do you feel? You know, it's very important. Just as if you were a bicyclist, or if I ride a Harley. So we have a lot of friends that we ride Harleys with, and that's like-minded people. Same thing with this, when it comes to your diet, having like-minded people. And sometimes I say to people say, how did you start I've watched you do the carnivore diet and the carnivore community. Help me get involved. Help me get on it. So a lot of times it's about being the lighthouse instead of the foghorn.
Yes, love that. I love that saying.
Yeah.
Definitely. So do you have, I'm sure that you get people asking you, how do I get started? What should I eat? What is your advice to people new to this way of eating?
Basically, for people that are new to this way of eating, I say you need to clean out your cabinets, clean out your pantry, clean out whatever is your drug, your drug of choice, your DOC, okay? So you have to clean that out. And once you clean that out, then it's not there tempting you. And I'm going to be honest with you, when people start carnivore, or even keto for that matter, if you're coming from standard American diet and you've been eating all the junk food, it's hard. It's hard to start. You're going to have to white knuckle just a little bit. But if you clean all that garbage out and you don't have it readily available and you have carnivore food prepared, boiled eggs, I always have bacon. I love crispy bacon. I always have bacon. I do a lot of dehydrated meat.
Yes, I know.
Just those things are convenient to have when you need something.
Yes.
And eventually, the sugar cravings will subside.
Yeah.
They really will.
How long do you think it took you before you felt like you were comfortable not having sugar cravings?
I would say about 3 months of full-blown carnivore. Like I said, from January to September, I would do so good all week long, and then on the weekends I would just bomb, and I'd be so mad at myself. I did so good all week. Why am I doing this on the weekend? And I had to have a serious heart-to-heart with myself. A lot of it is mindset. I had to start being in the moment. Okay, I just picked this up. No, set that back down. You can't eat that. In the moment. Because you're around different things and different environments, you know. I had to get to the point where if I had birthday cake, baby showers, birthdays, I made sure that I ate before I went.
Yeah.
And then I would look at that birthday cake and say, I can't do that. That will put me back in the ditch, face down, and the carb bus will run over me.
Yes,
so
that's
for
right.
me, it's like a drug. I mean, it's almost like
Right.
heroin or cocaine. You can't have that. You know, that's not part of who I am.
Yes. Hi. That's okay. That's okay. Do you want some water?
No, I'm good. I got
Okay.
drink.
I'll have a glass of water.
Yeah, I'll have one since you're here. Water.
Thank you.
No, it's
thank you
okay.
so much.
I didn't realize that.
I
Thank
know.
you. It's
That's
okay.
No problem.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the water.
Okay, so for me, like I said, I have to look at that cake icing. I was so bad, Anita. I used to stop at the local bakery and they would sell me like a little Dixie cup full of icing with a spoon. Whatever the flavor of the day was, chocolate, peanut butter, caramel, strawberry, it didn't matter. As long as it was cake icing, I was so happy. Some people call it frosting, icing, same thing, you get it. It's on birthday cake.
Yep.
And so basically, I had to learn to be in the moment. I can no longer have that. Don't get me wrong, I could have it. I just choose not to have it because, like I said, my whole life I was up 10, down 20, up 30, down. You know, I lost all that weight with weight loss surgery. My weight loss surgery, I should have been in the hospital 2 days. I was there 8 weeks because I developed 2 leaks.
Wow.
So, and then like I said, when I got out of the hospital, I was still losing weight and I was still eating cookies. And, you know, it was great. Oh, I'm losing weight. I can still eat the cookies. Well, one day that stopped and the weight started creeping back up and all of the cravings came back in. So for me, to give people advice, I would say to move that out of your world.
Yes.
Move it out of your life. Move in the things that you can have. And if you know that being around birthday cake is a trigger, then don't go to the party.
Yep. Yes.
That sounds terrible, you know, and I could eat cake icing if I wanted to, but I choose not to because for me, it's I know what would happen.
Yes.
I'm not a moderator. I can't just eat one Oreo. I got to eat the whole row, and then the others are calling me after I put that back up in the cabinet. So yeah, I would say identify your drug of choice, eliminate that drug of choice, and try to fill your kitchen or your house with things that you can have, whether it be keto or carnivore. You know, some people are ketovore.
Yes, they are.
yeah.
Yes, they are. And I think it's good to worry less about the label and more about getting all that junk out and eating, you know, proper human diet type foods.
Yeah. And honestly, since you said that about we're here on a cruise, let me throw this in. When I was standard American diet, I lived for these kind of cruises because there's a buffet and there's dessert and there's sweets and there's ice cream and there's always cookies and, you know, there's mashed potatoes and all that stuff. So I was sitting in the Windjammer, which is the buffet here the other day, and I was kind of looking around, I was like, wow, I had an epiphany. I sat there and said to myself, holy moly, I used to live for this. And like I can sit here in this dining hall, watch people eat from this buffet bar, and it does not trigger me whatsoever. And that is huge for me. That is like a small miracle in itself.
That's a huge point because you mentioned just a moment ago, you know, don't go to the party. That is temporary.
Right,
You know,
it is.
we need to do that sort of thing to protect ourselves while we're still, you know, in that, I want to say addiction, I guess,
Right.
while we're still...
Well, you're in that phase of trying to eliminate it out. I mean, if a person was an alcoholic and they were practicing sobriety, they wouldn't go sit at a bar.
No, they wouldn't.
You know.
You know, and that said, just like you, I'm in that Windjammer too. Today they had lots of meat there, by the way.
Yeah, they
It was
did.
excellent. But I'm in there too, and you know, I'm sitting at a table. I'm right beside the dessert buffet. Does not even phase on me. Like it's not my food, and I feel like you're probably the same way at this point in your life.
I mean, you almost it hits you to the point you're almost shocked.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, whoa. Did that really just happen? Am I sitting here watching all these people eat all these foods and it's really not triggering me? And some of the people who are watching might think, well, they don't get triggered that way. Well, not everybody is addicted to the same thing.
That's right.
You know, like I said, I've never smoked. I mean, I might have had a drink once or twice a year, but I've never really been a drinker. Never been hooked on any kind of drugs. But food for me was my weakness. It was my addiction.
Yes.
And you know, and it wasn't bread. It was sweets, anything chocolate.
Yes.
Or peanut butter. You know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I just sat in there today and was like, wow. Like, I mean, I was proud of myself, but I was also having an aha kind of moment.
Yes. And I know that a lot of people say to me, and I'm sure that you've heard it from others as well, do you mean you're going to go through your whole life not ever having that again? And, you know, the answer to that, we don't know what the answer to that is because we don't know how we're going to react to certain situations. But to me, it's well, for now, just do it one day at a time. Like, just get through today. And then the next day, get through the next day, and you know, one meal at a time, one step at a time. Because at some point, like, I never would have thought that it would just not bother me. I look forward to the meat. I have a vegetable now and then, but I really look forward to the meat. And truly, if people could believe that they could be in that situation someday, it's not, they won't miss it forever. They'll miss it in the beginning, but they won't miss it, you know, forever.
Yeah, in the beginning it was harder for me because I felt like I was being so deprived. I'm not going to have any birthday cake. I'm not going to have any baby shower cake. Right. But then after a while, now it's more like I could have that. It's not that I can't have it. And it's not that I'm never going to have it. It's that I choose not to have it.
And
for me, I know it would make me feel like crap. I mean, I know all that sugar would make me feel like I was having probably an insulin coma, you know. I mean, I can remember times when I would eat that crap and I want to go lay down because I'm sleepy and I don't feel good and I feel nauseous because I ate too much of it. The cake icing I used to get at the bakery, I would eat it till I was nauseous, and then I would say, oh, I'm never doing that again. Until the nausea wore off.
That's right.
Till the nausea wore off, and then I'd eat the rest of it.
And they have a new flavor, and you know.
And then I'd be back there the next day to get a different flavor in a cup.
Yep. Totally,
you know,
totally relate.
Yeah, I mean, that was just my thing. And I grew up on sugar. When we were kids, you know, oh, you've been good. Do you want to have a cookie? Oh, it's your birthday. Let's have birthday cake. You know, oh, let's have Kool-Aid with lots of sugar in it.
Oh, you're sad. Let's have a cookie.
Yeah, I live in the South. We drink sweet tea. You know, oh, here, let's have some sweet tea. You know, you go to a family reunion or anything like that, and there's like an entire table full of dessert, and you got to try every one of them because they're all good. You know, and now I don't feel that way. And it's almost like your mindset switches.
Yes. Well, yes, and we're going to get to mindset in just a moment. I have one other question I want to ask you. So besides the benefit of, you know, overcoming that food addiction, what other benefits have you gotten from doing this? Like any health benefits? Let's hear it.
Okay, so before I started, I didn't have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, any of that. I probably was borderline diabetic and never tested. I never had my A1C tested prior to Carnivore. I did have a CAC score done, that is coronary artery calcification. Had that done 10 years ago, and my CAC score was 285.
Oh, okay.
I just had the CAC score done in January of last year, and it was 16.
Wow, that's a big difference.
They say you can't lower that, but apparently I did. I used to have skin tags, and I used to get them removed from time to time. They're all gone. They just fell off. No more.
Wonderful.
I had neuropathy in my right foot.
These are all signs of insulin resistance and, you know, pre-diabetic at least when you have skin tags and neuropathy and all that.
Neuropathy went away. Everybody tells me that I look 10 years younger. It's like I feel younger. I have more energy. You know, the mental clarity is worth its weight in gold. I'm 57 years old, and I feel like I'm mentally in my 30s. I mean, that's how clear my brain feels. The why that makes me cry, my mom had dementia, And to see what she went through the last 2 years of her life, I don't want to go down that road. Does carnivore mean I'll never have dementia, never have cancer, never have autoimmune diseases? No. But if it increases my chances of avoiding that stuff, then I'm willing to do it.
Yes.
And there's no amount of cake icing that tastes as good as I feel now.
Yes.
And you can tell people this till you're blue in the face, but until they actually try it, I didn't realize my health was that bad until I tried this.
Yeah.
My allergies are about 50% better, not totally gone, but I do live in the South. I did have asthma. My asthma is almost gone completely. Like I said, I have a lot more energy, a lot more stamina, and for me, it's the mental clarity.
Okay.
Like the thought of eating something that could potentially make my mental clarity be the way it was before, I'm not interested.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you mentioned the why, and that's what I want to talk to you about as well. Being here on this cruise, we've heard a lot of speakers talking about mindset and why, and that message has been coming from pretty much every speaker over the last few days. And so I would like to know a little bit more about, do you think someone needs a why in order to be successful long term? And maybe you can just expand on the importance of a why and what your why is, and has that changed since the early days?
Okay, so like I said, I've always had a weight issue, up and down, up and down, up and down. The weight loss surgery, I actually gained 25 pounds to make my BMI high enough to have weight loss surgery because I thought that was the end-all cure-all. I had the sleeve, so I do not have a bypass. And I mean, seeing people, I tell people all the time, you can do hard now or you can do harder later. Because as we get older, I don't care who you are, diseases come on board, whether it's high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, dementia, all these, cancer, and for me, all those contribute into it. And I struggled my whole life. So my why was, I'm tired of yo-yo dieting. I'm tired of being addicted to sugar. I feel like it owns me. And I don't like being owned by something. So when I started eliminating that from my life, I was like, yes, this feels good. It feels good not to be a slave, for lack of a better word, to sugar and desserts. So that's part of my why. Like I said, my mom had dementia. She ate sugar. I am her child. We were very sugar addicted at a young age, and so was she. So those are my strong whys. I just got tired of being addicted to sugar, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. Around the holidays, here comes 10 or 15 pounds because I'd make all this candy for everybody and I would eat my share and other people's share. So that's kind of my why. And like I said, the mental clarity, it's just, I can't explain it. The cobwebs go away. The brain, just the brain numbness. It quits.
Yes. Do you think, say 10 years ago, if you had kept on the path of eating the sugar and not finding this way of eating, would you have been able to travel like this and come on a cruise like this, do the excursions? Like, what would that have looked like for you?
I probably would have. I mean, I've lost a lot of weight a lot of times, but this is the most stable my weight has ever been in my adult life.
Do you mind if I ask how much you've lost?
Like I said, initially I lost 100 pounds with the sleeve surgery. Then I started taking steroids for an eye problem I had, which makes you crave air, makes you crave anything sweet. So my weight went back up some, and then now with Carnivore I've gone back down 85 pounds.
Okay, congratulations.
So, I mean, and it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. And I feel for people, I really do. But I probably wouldn't. I've been cruising since the 80s.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, the late 80s, early 90s. So I probably would have continued to do it, but I might not have felt as good as I feel now.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I love being active, and the path that I was headed on, which was similar to yours, I don't know if I could have gotten on an airplane and, you know, flown to Tennessee or come on a cruise like this and get off the boat and go on an excursion. I just didn't have the stamina for it. I mean, you know, you must feel a lot stronger and more energetic.
Yeah, I do. But I've been cruising for a long time, and I love to travel, and I love getting on a plane. But it certainly is way nicer when you sit in a seat and you fit better in the seat.
Absolutely.
You know, and not carrying around that extra weight. It just wears you down.
It does.
And then, like I said, some people just don't think, well, there's nothing wrong with my life. Just try it for 30 days, and you'll find out very quickly you thought you felt good until you gave all that up.
Yes, well, it's like, you know, if you're walking through the fog, sometimes you don't realize you're in the fog until you get to the clearing, and then you're like, oh, this is what it's like. So, is there anything you wish that you knew when you first started that you can pass on to others?
I'm not
or
sure.
Or something you would have done differently.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm 57 years old. There was a young lady who raised her hand this morning in the class. She's 20.
Yes.
She was at Meat Stock also, and she asked about trying to get some of her friends on board and helping them. And I told her, I said, you know, I would have given money to have become carnivore at 20. I mean, I would have given money to have, I would have probably never had weight loss surgery. I wouldn't have been yo-yo dieting all my life. I would have felt mental clarity, you know, a lot sooner. So yeah, if I could turn time back, I would really turn it back and start, we just cut off.
I quickly change the battery, and then we'll, because I do have a spare battery. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're back in business.
All right, so, basically, like I said, if I was able to turn time back, I would ever so greatly love to have been carnivore at 20 years old, because I can only imagine how my life would have been. Like I said, people don't realize what they're suffering from now until they change. And 30, 60, 90 days of carnivore, if you do a complete 90-day carnivore, I can just about guarantee you will not go back to standard American diet.
Yes, I agree with that, because it's amazing how you don't know what you don't know until you go through that.
I mean, people can, you know, they can watch the roller coaster. People get on a roller coaster. Oh, wow, that looks pretty cool. But you're standing down here watching it. But then when you get on it and you take that roller coaster ride, then you experience the whole thrill of the roller coaster. And it's that way with carnivore. I mean, people say, oh, I could never do it. But, oh, you could. You could if you got the benefits from it.
Yes. Well, thank you, Audra. I'm wondering if you can just tell us where all the places that you hang out on social media, wherever. We're going to make sure all your contact is below, but maybe just tell us where people can reach you.
Okay, so I have a TikTok, which is All Things Audra. I also have a Facebook page, All Things Audra. I also have a YouTube, which is All Things Audra. I have lots of videos on there teaching people how to dehydrate meat, because they kid about me being the queen of dehydration. I love pork loin. It tastes like Lay's potato chips if you dehydrate it right.
You brought bags of it to Meat Stock last year, and I remember munching away in the kitchen there. It was so good. So I've been doing my own too.
Scott's like, if you'll just start a business doing this, I'll invest in it.
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
I don't have time to do that. But okay, so on Instagram, my handle is a little different on Instagram. My handle there is Carnivore Private Eye. So it's Carnivore _ Eye. So Carnivore Private Eye, because I am a private investigator. So that kind of makes it neat.
That does.
Yeah, so that's all my sites. And then, of course, I have a website, which is allthingsaudra.com. And I do coaching. I do one-on-one private coaching with people, as well as I do life coaching too. So yeah, so that works well.
So you have a lot to offer. Everything from meat chips to investigating something.
And I will be carnivore 4 years come September.
Really? Okay. That is fantastic. Well, I'm just so happy that we met up again on this amazing trip that we've been on. Have you enjoyed Alaska? I
have enjoyed it. Like I said, I've been on many cruises, but this is my first cruise to be carnivore. And like I said, I was so floored. Well, the last cruise I went on was before, you know, we had the pandemic kind of thing happen on any sense. So this is my first one carnivore. And like I said, this morning I was just sitting there thinking, wow, all this food would have normally triggered me,
Yeah.
but it hasn't.
What have you got
I
to
mean-
say to people who say, well, I can't be carnivore because I travel a lot?
Oh, you can be carnivore.
Yeah.
You can get eggs, you can get bacon, you can get hamburger patties. I mean, you can even go through McDonald's drive-through and order 2 quarter-pounder patties,
Yeah.
and they will sell you just the patties.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wendy's, or, you know, there's always something I can eat, unless
Yeah.
maybe you took me to a tofu restaurant or something, I don't know. But there's always got to be a burger patty or
Yeah.
a steak
Yeah.
or, you know, even a piece of fish.
Yeah.
You know, some crab legs, some lobster.
Yeah.
You know, there's always something.
It's lobster night tonight
It
in the
is.
dining room.
It is. That's why I threw that in there.
Looking forward
But
to it.
every night in the dining hall, there's a staple on there every
Yeah,
night.
there is.
Ribeye.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, New
The
York
New
strip.
York strip.
New
Yeah,
York
I've
strip
had that
is-
a few times.
Yeah, it's on there every
It's always
night.
good. It's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah.
And there's usually a clean, you know, at least one like shrimp cocktail or something. You know,
Yeah.
last night it was beef carpaccio. I mean, there's things.
Yeah.
There's always something. They're very accommodating
And
here too.
occasionally, like you said earlier, if I have like some fish at a local fish house, I might have like my fish broiled, and then I'll have like a little side of coleslaw. You know, I may have something like that
Sure.
once in a while, but
Yeah.
as far as an everyday thing, no.
Yeah.
And I don't crave that food.
Yeah.
You know, I just, it's amazing how food no longer rules you.
Exactly. Okay, well, I think they're going to come and clean up the restaurant soon. So I'd like to thank the Anthem of the Seas Solarian Bistro for allowing us to use this private little corner. And I would like to thank you for having this conversation with me. We'll do it again sometime. You know, when I'm back in my home studio and all that stuff. But I just thought, since we're here together on the ship, that we should give this a try.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
You know, I always love seeing you. You're just always such a bright smile spot.
As are you. You've always. I love your hair. I love your vibe. Everything about you.
Thank
so
you.
I enjoy it.
Maybe
whenever
we'll
I
cook
run
bacon
into you.
together again
Yes,
soon.
I hope so.
We can
I
fry
hope
up the
so.
bacon.
We will. So thank you for watching, and thank you, and enjoy the rest of this trip.
Thank you, and you do the same.
I will.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. That went good. It did.
It was very smooth, even when I had a little hiccup with the guy.
I know.
It was still smooth. This